use the number today, 03030 80 55 55. The text 81771. The email nolan@bbc.co.uk. My goodness, when we look at the news every single day and the absolute tragedy that we're watching on our television screens every single night. And here's another day now. World leaders have accused Russia of endangering the safety of an entire continent after its forces shelled the nuclear power station in southern Ukraine. A fire broke out at the nuclear plant, the largest in Europe, after it was attacked by Russia. Authorities say the facility is now safe. Radiation levels are normal. But Boris Johnson said the reckless attack could directly threaten the safety of all of Europe. Now, Jeff Dewey is originally from here in Northern Ireland, lives in Kyiv with his wife Tanya, and Jeff is with us this morning. Jeff, good morning.
Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning. I hope you're okay, Jeff. Tell me what you've seen around you in the last 24 hours.
Well, over this last couple of days, again, we still seem to be in this little quiet bubble. But as I'm speaking to you, Stephen, I'm listening to a constant barrage off in the distance, explosions, a lot more regular than they have been and a lot closer. When we go out in the streets are patrolled constantly by... Oh, that was a big one, quite close. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's actually starting to rattle the apartment block I'm in.
I can't hear it, Jeff. What's it?
It's a dull...
What's it say?
Anybody in Belfast knows what that dull thud of an explosion in the distance is. That's what it is. It's rockets exploding all around the city. So it is really a city under siege. One of the mistakes they made was arm a lot of civilians and release a lot of prisoners and arm them to fight the war. But what they're doing is...
Why was that a mistake?
Well, they're fighting each other and they're using their newfound weapons to rob the businesses that are open and rob people in streets in the car. So it's very dangerous to be out in the streets at the minute.
Hold on a second. Ukrainians are robbing Ukrainians?
To some extent, yes. It is a bit of a problem. And also the civilian guard are not trained. They've been given all these automatic weapons and a bit of authority, and well, they can be a little bit overzealous, shall we say. Stephen, can I just give a shout out to everybody in Northern Ireland for all the well wishes, and indeed everybody around the world, especially in Newton Abbey and North Belfast, my old stomping ground, who have been sending me messages of support, and it really does help. And I pass those messages.
Jeff, what's going on around you? Get out of there, sure.
Stephen, it would be, from what I was telling you, it would be just as dangerous, if not more dangerous at this moment in time to try and leave the city as to stay here. For example, that large explosion in the Ministry of Defence, which was really close to the Pack Central Railway, bunged with families trying to escape. It must have been very, very frightening for them. Trying to get a train's impossible. We know people who stood for 2 days and finally gave up and came back home with their small children because they just couldn't get on the trains. There's just so many people trying to escape. The one
last night that they were negotiating humanitarian corridors.
Yeah.
The negotiations had got to a certain stage where they were saying that these humanitarian corridors so that people can get out or supplies can get in.
Well, Stephen, from what I've seen unfolding, I do not trust. The only thing I can say so far, Putin seems to have been sticking to military targets or trying to stick to military targets or high-profile targets and whatnot, and trying to avoid civilian areas. There are still civilian casualties. Tanya at the minute is on the phone with the police and the civil defence and the authorities trying to get us a safe passage around the city, because we're trying to find out if we would be more useful at a hospital or more useful taking some children. There's a school with about 80 to 100 orphan children from Kherson, one of the other cities, that got bombed very, very badly by the Russians. So we're safe. So we're trying to decide today what we can actually... Yesterday we...
What did you do in a hospital, Jeff? Did you train?
No, well, in a hospital, you can comfort people, you can make food, you can wash the floors. There's many things you can do just to help on any way. It doesn't matter.
Before this started.
While this has been ongoing, my wife saves animals. We've been busy helping friends and trying to. I mean, there's one shelter. One girl we know has 50 dogs now because the people have run away. The dogs are just left, or the dogs get lost, and she's trying to feed and care for the dogs. Another woman.
Would you come home if you could get home, Jeff?
At this minute in time, Stephen, no. I'm bullheaded and pig-headed. This is my wife. This is her city. We love this city. I would rather stay here and try and help and do whatever it is we can do.
And what's the most profound thing you've seen since war started?
Where to begin? The most profound thing I have seen is the spirit of the young men, the soldiers, who are outnumbered. Oh goodness, heavily outnumbered. And I've said before, it reminds me of how my father or grandfather must have felt at 16 years old at the Somme. You know, you don't actually grasp the situation until you see these chaps, their resolve, their determination, their courage. But the only thing out of all this that saddens me is I was really saddened by a fella back home. All the well wishes, we had a fellow, Stephen William McManus, up in Coleraine, who decided to troll me and tell me
Hold on. We're not going to start to mention people live on the...
Oh, right, okay, but all I could...
What you're going to say and give that individual...
Right, well... Okay, shall we say...
We're not going to do it.
No, that's okay, Stephen, understand.
Can I just ask you this before you go this morning? We were doing this on Nolan Live television this week. We were doing this on the radio yesterday. Edwin Poots is calling for NATO to intervene, shoot down Russian planes if they're bombarding indiscriminately the Ukrainian population. What do you think, Jeff?
What do I think? Edwin Poots. Okay, saying that. NATO should intervene, then China will intervene, and then where does that end? Stephen, that is insanity. This situation is really, really bad, and I think it can only be resolved from negotiation, because getting more countries involved, what's he going to do? Get Poland and all the old communist countries involved, and then Russia, will he get involved with them? It's exactly what Putin wants. He wants this reaction so as he can expand and have his world war. I believe he attacked Chernobyl and he's attacking the atomic power plant here to throw radiation into the air as a blanket to test his nuclear weapons, if you know what I mean. The man's insane. We don't give him any excuse to continue or expand this conflict. Okay, cheers.
All the best. Cheers. Bye.
Yeah.